I'd like to welcome you guys to our new episode called Is Courting Still a Thing? This is going to be a continuation of last month's episode. So if you did not watch it, please ensure to make sure you go back and watch this. But stay with us for now because I would like to introduce you to our guest speaker. We have Nana Amofa. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to everyone watching. Yeah, go for it before I introduce everything.
My name's Nana. I'm 30 years old. I'm a manager in an asset management company, and I'm a married man, and I've been married for over 6 years now, and I can say I'm happily married.
Yes.
I have the best wife, so don't gel.
Okay, so just to give a bit of a background, so we had Karen Amofa on last month, who is Nana's amazing wife. Who's Nana's amazing wife. So if you did tune in, you'll realise that we did talk about a lot of things. You know, the topic of conversation was, is courting still a thing in this generation? You know, there was a lot of questions that were raised about whether courting and dating are the exact same thing, if courting is really much alive in today's society, whereby, you know, Karen and Nana were courting at the age between 19?
I would say I was 19 at that time.
So yeah, they started courting at 19. Just definitely remember to correct me if I say anything wrong. I don't want to get you confused.
She was
18 at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you started courting /18, 19. You were married by 23, 24. So, and yeah, you've been married for 6 years. Now, obviously, it just brings us to the whole thing of people saying that courting is no longer, or it's old school, old fashioned. However, there's proof that it works. And, you know, happily married after 6 years.
Yeah, it's a good thing, man.
I know, right? So we want to dig deeper into it because we established that courting is still a thing in this generation. It's just about how we will go about it, right? So I'm going to ask questions. I do really want you guys to get involved. I want you to tune in, make sure that you share this link, ensure that you've got people to watch. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your own opinions, share your own experiences. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about it. Let's debate, even if you don't agree with what we're saying. Speak your views. No one's here to judge you. We just want to talk about it,
that's what's
right?
Up.
That's what's up. I like that. I'm going to use that instead. But yeah, that's what's up.
Because I kind of copyright that.
So I can't do it.
I'll let you use it.
That's what's up. Okay, cool. So let's hear it from your side. So we had a conversation with Karen last time about how you guys met. Let's hear his side of the story.
Yeah, you know, So I guess Karen and I, we went to the same college, but we never actually met in college. I never. It's possible that our paths might have crossed like by friendship groups, but I never actually spoke to her or even acknowledged in my mind that there's somebody called Karen, you know, on this campus, you know, on this land, you know, and we got to university and. You know, we were going to a Christian fellowship at that time. And I got to one particular day, the fellowship was on.
Do you remember the date? Because it'll be real cute if you remember.
I can give you it's approximately probably October, November 2018 or something like that. No, not 2018. It can't be 2018. 2009.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, I went in there and I remember I saw this lady praying to God, you know, praying in the front, and I said, wow, you know, like, I guess, like, obviously, she was beautiful to behold as well, you know what I'm saying, and kind of over spiritualize things. My eyes like what I saw, you know what I'm saying, and then I also see that she's praying, and I thought, man, not only is she beautiful, but she clearly loves God as well. I mean, at that time, that was my thinking. As I said, man, you know, I would like to get to know this person further, you know. And yeah, so began talking, and as you know, today we're here, 6 years, 6.5, it's come out 6.5 years, going on 7. Yeah,
that's really something. And I wanted people to taking the fact that it was a Christian fellowship, number one.
Yeah,
And there was that attraction first, even though the first thing you did say was you saw her praying for
Yeah.
Ra, like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. There was something else that you mentioned that I actually thought, you know, maybe it'll come back to me.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, so that was actually kind of fairly similar to what Karen said in terms of like your side of the story.
All right.
Sometimes, you know, it tends to differ. You guys kind of
Yeah,
put your own little seasoning on stories and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that sounds about right. Okay, cool. So what was it that generally attracted you to Karen?
Yeah.
So you walk in, you see her.
Yeah.
Let's go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, two things, definitely two things there. So, you know, what I saw with my eyes, you know, and also there was the physical attraction, but there was also the fact that she was praying, and that spoke volumes to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously you go to university, you know, you meet people, but obviously people meet people in the club. Like, somebody see a lady out there, you know, shaking their fang. You know, and that's attractive to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, the prayer side was attractive as well as the beauty. I'm not going to say, oh, you know, the physical doesn't come into it. But I think generally, you know, just to speak about attraction for a little bit, it's just, you know, we got to remember that the word attraction is now supplemented by the other things that you get to know about the person. And now the person who first, I guess, looked beautiful to you can now not look as beautiful. You see what I'm saying? Although the kind of like the outside of the person is still the same. Yeah. Right? But because of the other things you know about the person, you know, the attraction has changed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're not as beautiful. So I guess what I'm saying is, for me, like, I was attracted to her initially as, you know, as an individual that she was. You know, she's beautiful, physical attraction. Yeah. But as I got to spend time with her, you know, over a period of 6 months and befriending her and getting to know about her family, getting to know about her interests, getting to know about, you know, her walk with Christ. Is it a serious walk, or is it kind of like a I go church on Sunday kind of walk? You know, and yeah, and that supplemented it. So now she became even more beautiful to behold. You know, it's like, man, this woman is hot.
She's hot.
Yeah, man,
she's hot.
But see, I just want to say, not just because of the physical though. Yeah. Now she's become hot because of so many other more things that came out of the.
That's fair enough. Because I think one thing that a lot of people, especially with this whole word attraction, that a lot of people don't really necessarily want to address as Christians, or when you are trying to go about it in the holy way, is this unspoken rule about physical attraction. Yeah. Because there's a fine line between physical attraction and lust, where a lot of people see it like that. But let's be completely real. When you first see someone, you don't know their personality, you don't know their family background, their education. You don't know those things. The first thing you see is the actual physical self, isn't it? So really and truly,
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You have to, there will be that aspect of physical attraction first, but then how you carry on with it is how, let's say.
It's kind of,
yeah, that's what I mean. So like, you know how, I don't know, everyone knows what Pastor Moses is like. He says a lot of girls will go for their tall, dark, handsome guys with the beards and the six-packs and all. Exactly. But, you know, that only lasts for some time. There has to be a lot of, there has to be a lot more content to it in terms of what's going to keep you guys going in the long run, because looks do fade away. Yeah, man. And if, you know, you're going to hold on to this guy that's not treating you right or doing X, Y, Z because he's got a nice beard, sis.
Yeah, we can all look after our beards.
Sis, this is it. There's beard oils, there's everything now. So it doesn't even matter. Exactly. But you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to it. And yes, physical attraction is one thing, but there's so many other different things that you need to consider when it comes to choosing your life partner, I would say.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, like with, you know, I guess let's not. I mean, yeah, we're Christians, we're believers, but let's not over spiritualize things and say, oh no, physical attraction is not a thing. Physical attraction is very much a thing.
Alive,
I would even tell people, look, don't date someone who you're not physically attracted to. But then when I now ask you follow-up questions, what else are you attracted to about that person?
You have to be able to answer on the spot.
Yeah, like, you know, and I always kind of liken it. I mean, it still happens that I have a couple of friends who are kind of like, you know, buying houses, and people have bought houses right now. And it's like, you know, the inexperienced person, you know, buys a house just based upon the picture of the front garden. You know, they'll say, oh, this is a good house.
This is
Do
it.
you see what I'm saying? Because they just look at the front yard picture on Rightmove or Zoopla, and they're like, this is a good house, you know. And there's a difference between buying a house and buying a home, right?
This is it.
You see what I'm saying? And
the foundation, how it's built, the
see what I'm saying?
walls, what type of land it's even on. There was one thing that you were talking about the other day, Japanese something.
Japanese knotweed.
Exactly. You don't want Japanese knotweed at all.
Man,
so this is why it's so important
Yeah.
to really think about the person that you are going to spend your life with, because, you know, you may not necessarily see that Japanese knotweed today, but in 10 years it might be there.
It'll be coming through your walls.
Those cracks will really be showing in your home, darling. So
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, but literally, I just think it's important. But yeah, you continue.
No, I was just going to say as well, like, just generally, like, when you get inside that house, you know, you're going to see, like, a lot of things that you can, in your eyes, make that place a home. And the multitude of those things, you know, can cover the multitude of sins on the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's Proverbs 31:30, you know, that talks about charm is deceitful, beauty is vain. But
This is it.
a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised.
Hallelujah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So, you know, I always say to people, more so now, because bearing in mind, I just want to caveat this, that a lot of the things that I know now, a lot of things I didn't know then. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, we have to ask ourselves, and I want people to challenge themselves and say, okay, why is it that, you know, Bible talks about a woman that fears the Lord is to be praised, you know, and I don't want to misconstrue the Bible, but let's just say a man that fears the Lord is a good thing as well. You see what I'm saying? That I guess, why are we so drawn to the ungodly? You see what I'm saying? Like, godliness is the highest thing to be praised. Like, you know, that's the standard we should be seeking. That's what we should be looking for. If I see a lady, I mean, I have a wife, but, you know, let's say, okay, person X says that sees a lady, you know, and want to pursue that in a dating capacity. Is there the godliness there? And is that a prized possession? Is that something you really seek after? You know, but a lot of times it seems that, at least in this generation, or at least a lot of people that I see from the places that I've grown up in, they're happy with the ungodly. You know, they're happy with the lukewarm. They're happy with the beard oil guy, you know, the conditioner guy, you know, the six-pack guy, the guy who drives, you know, I ain't really see people with G-Wagon here, but, you know, maybe if you're back home, G-Wagon.
I mean,
Or if you're like here, what's a car here?
A Range.
Range.
Something like that.
You're happy with that guy. But what about the godliness?
It's true.
And we just can't settle for that, man. You know, and so, yeah, I feel that's why, you know, when you ask me about attraction, I kind of resonate with that, because people got to know, man, look, what's attractive to the world is not necessarily the standard for the Bible.
This is it.
You know what I'm saying?
I've always thought about it in a sense where just having someone who's, you know, in with Christ and who walks in that kind of path and whatnot, the root and the foundation of your home just wouldn't be shaken. Like, it just wouldn't budge, because, you know, 10 years down the line, 15, 20 years down the line, if there ever comes a time, like, we pray against it, but if there's ever a time within the home, and, you know, there's struggles, and you're the one that's lifting up the home, like, spiritually, and, you know, you've got your faith, you think that everything's going to come through and, like, God's going to see a way, but then your other half, so let's say you had a wife who doesn't necessarily believe, you know, it's going to be a lot harder. Let's say you're overcoming, you know, there are times where people in a house, not all jobs last. Not finance isn't always stable, and you know how money can cause problems within, like, relationships. But let's say you're just there, like, you know what, I'm holding on to my faith. God's going to come through for me. Like, right now it's just a season. We may be struggling financially, but it's just a season. there's a difference in the type of woman that's going to lift you up and say, you know what, let's pray together. We both know that God's going to do it, and hold that faith and hope with you, as opposed to a woman that's of the world who's going to be looking at you like, listen, this isn't what I signed up for with marriage. You need to go and get a job. I don't care whether it's McD's. I don't care whether it's Tesco. I don't care where it's anywhere, but you need that money to come in or I'm leaving you because of those things. So when I say marrying someone that's of the world and marrying someone that's of Christ, I promise you, it's just two different lives that you can possibly live.
It's two different things, man. I mean, you know, just to follow on from what you're saying there, I think, you know, I really feel very strongly about what you said, because, you know, if you know, Bible clearly tells us, no, we shouldn't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. You see what I'm saying? So one of the key standards for a believer, and we're not talking about the person in the world, you know, we're talking about a believer, is to have another believer. And I just want to emphasize, you know, someone who believes in Jesus Christ, whose life is in Jesus Christ, who loves Jesus Christ, is known by Jesus Christ, you know, somebody who's just not a Sunday go, you know, we have too many Sunday church goers, like, oh, I go church. Yeah, me too, I also go church. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's like, just because you go to the city don't mean you work in the city.
This is very true.
You know? And so I feel really strongly about what you said, because even in my own home, you know what I'm saying? In my own home, you know, I grew up in a situation where my dad wasn't a believer, right? My dad wasn't a believer, and not so much the type that, you know, you get some homes today, they're happy to let you guys go, oh, you and the kids go to church and me, I'll stay at home and watch football. You know, but nah, my dad was, I remember very, very vividly, there was a day where he was like, nah, we said we're going to church. He said, nah, you're not going to church. You blocked us from going to church. And we stayed at home, legit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to have that extreme circumstance, but you can clearly see from that situation, and that if you marry someone who don't believe, you can open yourself up from a lot of situations, you know, a lot of issues. It legit blocked us from going to church. We stayed at home, you know. And so, again, I feel like, again, in the communities that I've grown up in, you know, I've seen that situation a lot. A lot of women are hot and a lot of men are cold. And it does cause issues. And, you know, I would like that for us as younger people and for those who are pursuing marriage now, you know, take a good look around you. Perhaps take a good look in your home and ask yourself, what type of marriage do you want? Yeah. And what type of marriage does the Bible say you should have? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's very strong. And I believe, you know, hopefully you guys do take this in, what we are saying, because we're not trying to steer you in the wrong direction,
It's been 18 minutes and I got that deep. Hey,
literally, there's still more. There's still more.
Going somewhere.
But yeah, no, 100%. We're not trying to steer you wrong. I think it's just things that we genuinely need to think about. Yeah. And if every single person in this generation could hear what we are saying or take into account things that we are saying, or just even consider it, it would be so different. There wouldn't be that many failed talking stages. I'm telling you from now.
Well, we're going to talk about that talking, though.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, because when Cameron was on last month, she mentioned that you knew straight away, instantly, that she was the one.
Okay.
So, as a man of God,
how
did you know she was the one?
You know what? It's interesting because the kind of 19-year-old Nana would answer that question a lot differently from the 30-year-old Nana. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, probably should say, I don't believe that there is the one. That's what I'll say that at the first instance, because, for example, you know, you have a lot of, there are people who date and not every dating ends up in marriage, right? But in that moment, you're thinking that person is the quote-unquote the one. Yeah. And then there's another the one, you know, and later on in life. So I guess what I'm saying is, I believe that in the course of, let's say, serving Christ, on the mission field, you know, at some point, if he's willing, he'll bring to you a helper, right? And as you guys date and you pursue that clarity about marriage in your dating, and you arrive at marriage, you know, that's your wife, you know what I'm saying? So, or your husband, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't say, perhaps, I wouldn't want to say people should be on that pursuit of the one, because what happens if, you know, you never find the one, right? Or I guess, you know, you just have to be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you have to be careful with that terminology. But generally, so when I was to answer your question.
Mickey, right, he said that there isn't really necessarily the one. There's numerous the ones, but it's just about finding the actual one. So plot twist, because I thought it was just the one, but I'll just let you continue.
Yeah, I think, so to answer the question with Karen, you know, at that time, you know, I was a lot more younger in my maturity, definitely with Christ. So, you know, I would be like, yeah, that's the one. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, perhaps what I was really saying is, this is the person at this point in time who is pursuing Christ, the same I am pursuing Christ, has that vertical love for Christ and that horizontal love for me. You see what I'm saying? As I have the horizontal love for her. And, you know, we're kind of pursuing this. We both have a mutual understanding and agreement and a goal that we want to pursue Christ in this dating, and with the purpose of marriage, you know, the clarity of marriage being there. So I think that's what I would say there. But I know that at that time I'll say that you're the one. I know that you're the one and stuff like that. And to be honest, hey man, I mean, I respect my wife a lot, man, because that can be real scary. You know, that can be real scary. You know, you're young people and someone say, hey, you know, I believe that God has said, you know, and it's like, hey, you know, God has said, you know. Yeah, so I just think, again, you meet someone in the course of serving the Lord. They have the attributes we just mentioned, and you pursue that clarity of marriage, and you move towards marriage.
I believe it.
Yeah, man.
I think, you know, obviously when you are younger, you do believe that there's only just that one, and you need to find that one, because if it isn't that one and you get married, it's just not a situation you want to be in. Yeah. But I think with time, you do tend to understand that there isn't just the one, but it's about finding your right fit, your suitor, and someone that's ordained for you. And I kind of want to go into something that was said here. Okay. Part of courting is about learning from each other as a relationship progresses. As a believer, you should not be unequally yoked. Having a believing partner helps, and it's a start. Yeah. And yeah, well said, Nana. Prayer is very essential in all we do. Yeah, you guys are on the right path. So yeah, there are quite a lot of things here in which we do need to consider when it does come to finding that right suitor. But we had this conversation last time. Yeah. So what are your views on the difference between courting and dating, if you believe that there is a difference?
There is a difference. Yeah, I mean, I guess personally, I don't think, and this is just my view, okay, so...
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger.
Everyone has their own views.
You might hear it differently elsewhere, but I don't think that there is a difference between the dating and the courting. That's me. I think if you talk about the life cycle of two people in a relationship, we're talking about the life cycle. I think perhaps you have 3 stages. One is friendship, you know, and that's just being friends. That's just, look, I have seen somebody in the course of my serving the Lord, you know, and this person is somebody that intrigues me. I just want to get to know them. You're not trying to be Casanova. You see what I'm saying? You're not trying to flirt and all that. You're just trying to get to know
Casanova.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a new one.
That's a new one, eh? Okay. You know, don't be Casanova.
Church Casanova.
Church Casanova. You know what I'm saying? This is why, you know, you mentioned earlier about this, and I want to talk on that other 2 stages in a minute, but, you know, you mentioned about the failed talking. People are talking too much. There's too much chatter today.
Way too much.
I'm just saying, like, you know, failed talking. What does that even mean? And I know people in the comments, you know, you have some definition of what talking is, but look, let's be real, man. Let's be real. You're talking too much.
Way too much.
You're talking too much. End of the day, just be friends. There's so much you can learn about friendship.
beforehand.
Beforehand, you know what I'm saying? Then, after that, now if you have a conversation, you say, you know what, maybe you like what you see, and I already said it, what you see is not just the physical attraction, but everything else you've learned that supplements the word attraction. Then you have that conversation, like, look, would you, I'm not saying you say it like this, you know what I'm saying, but you say, would you like to pursue, marriage, or I feel like X, Y, Z about you, and I'd like us to pursue marriage if you feel the same way. You see what I'm saying? Obviously, that's you've come to that point. You've also done your prayers with everything. I guess one can say it goes without saying, but at the same time, I guess I gotta say it because some of people out there ain't thinking about prayer. Do you know what I mean? But that's always happening. It's always happening. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, you say to this lady, because I'm a man, I'm gonna say mostly to say to the lady, but if you're a lady, you won't say to the man because I guess it's he who finds a wife. but
I've been saying, I've really been saying it's not. It's he who finds a wife, not she who finds a man. No, he who finds a wife is
she who finds a husband.
That's it.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, so then you say, all right, that, and then she says, all right, cool, yeah. Now you're in that dating stage. Now, what the difference between your dating stage and your friendship stage is the clarity of marriage. Like, we're both on understanding that this is towards marriage. Do you see what I'm saying? We're pursuant of marriage per se, and I can caveat that a bit more, or explain that a bit more. But the difference is, friendship is just all existing. Yeah. This is, I'm going with you towards this goal by the grace of God, which is called marriage. And then the third part of that life cycle, I'll say, is you're married. You have that Christ-centered intimacy, which is best found and experienced in marriage. Yeah. So I don't. So please stop talking. Everybody who's talking, stop it. You see what I'm saying?
But this is the thing. I think it's obviously you said that everyone within the comments and everyone who's watching possibly have their own definition of talking, because a lot of people consider the talking stage as the dating stage, because it's still, you're talking, you're getting to know someone, you're dating, you're going out, you're seeing what this person is like in different environments. So it could be, that side of talking. Another side could just be you guys are just messaging, calling each other, you're practically pen pals, you're not going out, you're not doing anything. Like, then that's okay, you man are talking too much, like it's enough. But it's solely based on your definition of talking, because I think now a lot of people do use the word talking as dating, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think what we have to define here is, there's a difference between, when I was working in one place, and I think some of the guys who were there were going on, let's say, speed dating, right? And you spend like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 minutes getting to know someone real quick. You see what I'm saying? But
did you do so? Speed dating is actually a thing around here.
I mean, I haven't been, but they tell me. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been to one before, but yeah, it happens in the UK. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
to see movies.
Yeah. So and I just think with this talking, you just have to be careful, because you got to define the terms. Dating, when you talk about dating in marriage, and again, this is me, right? You might go somewhere, so I just want to say that. Talk about dating in marriage, you're talking about having that clarity of marriage when you're doing that. I think a lot of talking there's a lot of overlap with friends. You can be friends. Friends can go out. Friends can do this X, Y, and Z. Friends can, if you're a friend, we might go for dinner in the safety of groups, and you might go for a dinner, but in the safety of being outdoors. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So we have a lot of that, which is in the friendship. And I think the key difference is, at that stage, according to what I'm saying, you're not dating, you're just friends. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's where you say, failed talkings, it's somebody might say, oh, that's a failed dating. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the same, right? Because you're just friends. So just be friends. Okay. Get to know each other as friends. When it ends, there's no harm, no foul, because I was only your friend. You know what I'm saying?
But then, so that's, okay, so cool. So how I'm trying to work out the stages of, you say courting is friends, then working towards marriage, and then marriage, right? Yeah. So technically, friends isn't part of that courting stage. It's just getting to know someone. No, it's just friendship, and then courting starts from there, right? Because how we see it is when you do start courting, you should have this, this end goal of marriage. Now, if we now decide, oh yeah, okay, cool, friends, not every one of your friends that you're deciding, okay, maybe I can marry this one, I can marry that one. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're trying to say, but I still think that there's a lot of the friendship stage is when we say at least from what I might be hearing you wrong, and I apologize, but when we say talking and what a lot of the young people say talking, I think is sometimes confused with just being friends. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of that discovery process can be discovered as friends, in the safety of that community of friendship, without having to move into that next phase of dating. Because when we move to that next phase of dating, that's to say we're pursuing of marriage, or that clarity of marriage, and that's a different thing. So, and there might be this in between part, right? And I can appreciate that, but I just think if you stick to this kind of triune idea of we're friends and then we're pursuing it, because for example, I'm not gonna date someone. I don't have to date someone who is not a believer, or find out within the dating process or the talking process that they are a Sunday churchgoer, but not really a
believer.
Child of God. I don't have to find. I will know that by the friendship. You see what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Yeah.
That should come out there. And so when we move towards that means a lot of those boxes have been checked already. So when we move to that dating, now we're saying, all right, let's crack on, towards this goal.
Okay. All right. No, I get where you're coming from. No, you've clarified it, because at first I was kind of like, I don't know about that, because that's when we'll have this whole talk of friend zoning and stuff that.
Yeah.
And that's where, that's it. And then that's where it can get political. Believe you me.
I had a couple friends in the friend zone.
Oh, you had, or you have?
Well, no.
Because we said that, I didn't hear the D or the V or the. I was like, wait, hold on.
Well, no, Karen tried to friend zone me, and maybe that's it for another day.
Karen, do you want to clarify, or is that a story for another day, or we?
Well, she was like, I just want to be friends, and I said, oh man, maybe see that time, maybe I want to talk.
So she wanted to go from stage one, but at that point you're already on stage two. Like, listen, we're getting married. Like, I can see that.
I was on what you define as I want to talk. I want to talk. And she was like,
I want to date.
I want to date, man. She was like, I want to be friends, and I was like, man, So, but and being in the friend zone, it's not good. It's not a nice place, but sometimes it can be a good place. And I had a couple of friends in the friend zone as well, but. There's different ways we could talk about that friend zone. You know what I mean? Some people, you just move too slow, man. That's what it is.
Fair enough. I have some questions here that people are asking. I have one here that says, how do you even initiate the stage of friendship with a Christian out of your local church?
Yeah. Oh, that's the okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a very good question, and I think it starts. Okay, so I'm going to make some assumptions here. I'm going to assume both people are going to the same church, right? Is that fair to say?
How is it one even into the stage of friendship with a Christian out of your local church? So you don't go to the same church?
Oh yeah, well, what I said earlier is if you're in the mission field, God will bring a helper, right? So what that means is if you are in those circles, like, what I'm saying, like, I'm not throwing shade on anybody. So when I say this next part, but if you're always in the club, you see what I'm saying, or you're always in the rave, I'm sorry, but and you say no, I'm getting older, I haven't met anybody. Well, what do you think? Like, what I'm saying? It's like me going, I don't know, me going to. I don't even know what to say, but it's even, okay, me going to a DIY shop to buy chicken, it don't compute, and I like your reaction there. It don't compute.
Yeah, I was silly, right? So you're going to, okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's so silly, right? Yeah. But that's what people are trying to do. They're trying to say, like, I don't really frequent the places where believers gather.
Yeah.
I frequent the places where the world gathers the most, and then I have this question mark about, you know. But anyway, let's answer this question a bit. So I would just say, you know, definitely be around Christian, like be Christians. There's lots of like breakfast, lunches, conferences, this and that's happening. You see what I'm saying? That you can be a part of, and you see someone like, well, shall I say, God will bring someone like in that respect, or in the course of your serving, you will meet someone, you know, by the grace of God.
Amen.
And I keep saying, and I'm just being careful because the reason I'm trying to be careful is because, you know, some people, you know, have been doing that and they haven't met people, and it's not everybody that maybe is going to marry. So I think that's a key thing to say as well. And I think I just perhaps maybe is a good place to say that, you know, marriage is perhaps not the like, you know, everybody who's single at the moment perhaps shouldn't view marriage as that's the ultimate goal to be attained. And when I arrive there, I've arrived.
I've arrived. I've arrived type of.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at 1 Corinthians 7, I believe it's 1 Corinthians 7, talks about how, you know, Paul promotes his singleness and talks about the disadvantages of being married and how we have to focus on worldly things such as your wife and your children and stuff like that, and therefore don't have enough time or as much time for God. But the single person has so much more time for God, and we have to remember that our lives don't have just simply the goal of being married. Our lives is to serve Jesus Christ, and so whatever we can do to serve Him the more, that should be our goal. So I think I want to just say, singleness is not a disease to be cured or problem to be solved. Yeah. So if you're single, it's a great thing. Enjoy it. Praise
Take
God.
the time to get to know God, to get to know yourself, to know exactly what it is that you want and what you seek and
don't
where
despise
you
your
want to be.
singleness.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Don't despise it at all. Because I guarantee you, and I can tell you this from experience, when you get married, you can't be single again. Right?
I know that's right.
You see what I'm saying,
That's right.
You know, I mean, obviously, you know, there's some ways, but you know,
Wait, what do you mean?
No, I'm just saying,
Oh,
like,
okay.
you know,
When we
people die.
Yeah.
You know, people get. We don't like Christian divorce, but people do it.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just saying, like, you can't go back to that time. So when you're in it, please,
just
like,
enjoy it.
Make the most of it. Like you have so much opportunity to serve God, and just take the scriptures for what it's saying. There is such a benefit of being single.
Yeah.
Glorify God to the maximum in that time, and by the grace of God, should you marry, you know, pursue him as much as you can as well.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I hope that answers your question.
I hope so.
We have another one. So we have Sister Choma Movio, who has said, but who defines the term, can a woman ask the man without coming across too needy? And just to follow up another question, would you say that one issue is emotions entering in too quickly by one person alone in the stage of becoming friends?
Well, that's a very bombastic question. You know,
okay, let's go with this one.
Let me start with the first one.
Okay, cool.
The second one is good as well, but let me start with the first one. So who defines the terms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, look, in the course of being friends, you know, definitely, you know, look, let's be honest, we can see that a relationship, and when I say relationship, I'm talking about this kind of friendship between two individuals is moving in a certain direction, right? Yeah. And by all means, a woman can say, hey, which way are we going? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Are you about this life or are you not about this life? Do you know what I mean? So definitely I think a woman can ask the question, and should ask the question as well, because we have some type of brothers that they love to waste women's time. And, you know, I define them, you know, I define it as, you know, we have connections, man, and we have directions, man. Oh. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you like in a flight, you know what I'm saying, that has many connections. You see what I'm saying? It has many stopovers, taking a very long time to get to a destination. Okay. And then you have a direct flight. You pay a little bit more, but you get there on time. You know what I'm saying? You get there in a good fashion. I like that. You know, and you have too many connections, man. You know, and I know some of these ladies out there, they'll probably be saying, yes, talk to my man, blah, blah, blah. But you two, you're on the connection flight.
You're on that connection flight. Yeah.
Going to Kotoka International or Muhammadu International, you know.
You are unserious.
You know, taking the scenic route. So, you know, bringing it home, again, if you find that you're on that flight, mate, you know, pray for the grace of God to eject. And then to answer the question again, just to echo that, I think, you know, for Sister Choma's question, I do definitely think a woman can and probably should ask that question, just in case you're with some connections brother who's just around for the flight.
This is
he has no intention of getting to the destination. You need to cut him loose.
Yeah, I like the cuts. He needs to cut.
He needs to cut.
He needs to cut.
And what was the second question?
Would you say that one issue is emotions entering in too quickly by one person alone in the stage of becoming friends?
Yeah, like, you know, what do you say? You get caught up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You're lost in the sauce already.
Lost in the sauce, you know.
Lost in it.
Is that what they say now?
They're lost in the sauce.
Yeah, you're lost in the sauce. And, you see, and I think with relationship, what we need to, and dating, I just want to focus on dating here. What we need to be careful of is we're giving a lot of our hearts, our lives, our time into someone who potentially might not be our husband or wife.
This is it.
You see what I'm saying? So there's so much potential for hurt. And I think that's why it's worth having these conversations that you and I have, Roxanne, and we're having it with people watching us right now.
Yeah.
Because yes, people get caught up too quickly, and sometimes it's about taking a step back and just, you know, not allowing yourself to be wholly committed into it before it's appropriate to be in there. So you do have to take that step back. And I think I'll say this as well. During that dating time, what we have, some people might say is women, but I would say actually there's a lot of men in this situation as well. But like your mind has married them before you can actually marry them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay,
yeah. You know, and you know the typical view of like you know, women. They say women. I don't want to be biased or whatever, but they're saying women. You know, the Prince Charming view, right?
Yeah.
When you have that Prince Charming view and your view of marriage at that time, you don't know who the Prince Charming is at that time, right? So you probably just got somebody's face there or a Disney character. but the thing is, when you do start dating, you start to put somebody in that picture, right? You start to put you know, Tunde Balogun in that picture. You put
imagine if there's a Tunde Balogun watching
this
thing right now.
Like, God is speaking to you, man. Or Kwame Achiampong, you know. You put him into your image and you've married him in your mind. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So of course you're caught up because now you're unable to see the red flags. And there's loads of red flags. And God's trying to deliver you. And God's trying to say, yo, my child, that ain't the direction I want you to go. Like, you're not even heeding me at all because your ideologies have become an idol.
This is
you see what I'm saying? And now you're exalting that above God. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I keep saying, man, look, even I say this to people who are listening and watching. I say this to my 19-year-old self, like, as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, pray, man. Pray, like, really pray, like, just really be discerning. And also, in like, have a good community of Christian, like, friends, that good friends that you might have. Not every single friend, but Christian brothers and sisters who you can, like, go to for counsel.
Feed off each other,
in your church, like, talk to your pastor, like, you know what I'm saying? Talk to your pastor, like, get some good solid counsel, because trust me, like, it's difficult to press the eject button when your mind has married them.
This is it.
You know what I'm saying? It's difficult to press that button.
However, how do you stop yourself from getting... Because sometimes I don't think it's necessarily like, okay, I'm going to force myself to, you know, to catch feelings or to get involved, like, too emotionally. Like, there isn't necessarily a way of controlling that, if that makes sense.
I hear you.
So technically, it just depends on each person, because some think that may not necessarily... You know how there are different love languages? How I can say something like this. You know, there are different love languages.
Right.
So imagine there's two people there, you know, on the friend stage and whatever. Right. But one's love language is words of affirmation. The other person's love language is acts of service. Gotcha. Now, let's say that person that you're now talking to, they're just a really genuine, nice, giving person, and what they do and how they show you, or they literally like go hand in hand with your love language.
Okay.
It's going to be, you know, very easy for you to fall for that person quicker, because let's say you now do acts of service for that person, but for them that's not really their love language, so they're not going to catch things as quickly as you are. So it's just little things like people are different, and people focus on different things when it comes to seeing someone thinking, you know what, yeah, I can be with this person.
You know what I'll say to that? Sorry, let me let you land. I haven't let you land.
No,
You're still
you can
coming
land,
to
you can
Portugal.
land. I'm not going to, listen, I'm on a direct flight. I'm on a direct
that's what's
flight,
up,
you know what I'm
that's what's
saying?
up, that's what's up.
I'm getting on a direct flight.
yeah,
I don't give a heck. I'm getting on a direct flight. But,
Okay, I hear you.
but do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that easy for people to now pick and choose how they fall.
Do you know
Now-
what? Sorry, I thought you were landing.
Okay.
No, let me land. I'll say it.
I guess there are some people who, you know, I wouldn't even call it necessarily naivety, but there are people who are like helpless romantics. So the littlest things can make them think, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing person. This is this, I'm infatuated, all sorts. You have those type of people, so I hear it, sis, you're making a mistake. But in terms of like what Sis Chum is trying to insinuate now is the whole thing of someone may necessarily get to that like/love like stage beforehand, and the other person's not necessarily there. So how are you controlling that?
You know, the Bible says, you know, we should be angry and not sin. You know, don't let the sun go down on your anger, right? So I would say, you know, anger is that emotion, but somehow we can be angry and not sin.
Fair
Do
enough.
you get the connection there?
Yeah, I do.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I don't want to perhaps have a premise whereby we say, oh, because you're already emotionally involved, you're already on your way. Now you're in control of that.
This is it.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I'll say to that person. Like, God hasn't given you something you can't control. You can back away. And by the grace of God, you can do it, like, if need be. And if you and then also to take that a bit further to what you also alluded to was, if the person you're there before the other person has arrived, you know, you need to guard your heart. Yeah, you need to guard your heart, because it might be the person's not there, right? So you're still, you know, and that's what I'm saying, whereby you're just kind of friends. You see what I'm saying? But because I don't think you'd start dating if you both are not feeling a type of way about each other in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So you'd be still friends, and you'd guard your heart. And when the time comes and that conversation does come up, it would be a mutually agreeable conversation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But if you've already started dating and you're using dating as a discovery, and then now you're already there and the person is not there, well, that's why we have to be careful, isn't it?
It's very true in all honesty. Yeah, no, I hear that. One of the things that sorry, I just wanted to read this out because
go ahead.
I can answer this question for you.
All right.
My understanding is dating is the initial knowing which sometimes leads to courting. You are now exclusively with the person. Or am I old school? Now, you're not old school. However, things have definitely changed because there's so many different stages to it. Like, people correct me if I'm wrong, but there's the, okay, we're just talking. Then there's the, okay, now we're exclusive. Then there's the, okay, now we're official. And then there's the fiance and then marriage, right? In the worldly kind of sense. That's how things really go. So dating is just like one of many different forms of getting to know someone, if that makes sense. Can I say that?
I think maybe we perhaps people shouldn't be so hung up on the terminologies, more so about the definitions attached to the different stages that you have. There should be a stage where you're friends. Yeah? You're in the discovery phase about the individual. At that point in time, as you begin to know the person and you're attracted to the person, that person's getting to know you and you're attracted to the person. That's a feeling where, okay, we're both attracted.
Yeah.
At that point, there should be another stage. We have a conversation, say, since we both have this feeling, I would like to pursue marriage, at least the clarity of marriage with you.
Yeah.
Are you of the same mind? Yes? Cool. Call that stage what you want. Cool. You see what I'm saying? I would call it dating. You might call it talking. Or not you, but, some might call it talking. Some might call it courtship. Okay, cool. There's a part in that where you get engaged. And then, after engagement, there's another part where you get married. So I'm just saying, those are the definitions. Give them the terms that you want. But those are the definitions.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it, yeah. We have this gentleman who's also said, can official be when your relationship status changes on social media? Now...
I can change mine now.
This is it. I can change it, but what does it necessarily mean? I think one of the things, and I think, would I really say people necessarily care about the whole social media side of things? I can speak for myself where I don't really care about that. But I do say that there are some people in the world who necessarily get into relationships just because of that aspect of it, because it looks good.
That was a big thing when I was growing up. It was a big thing. If you change your status, you're saying
you say you're in a relationship, or you're saying something. Yeah.
I grew up around that whole Facebook. Facebook was the main one. You change your status, you're saying something.
This is it.
So I agree with Sister Joma's question. Can you be official by changing the status? I think I've messed up the question. But something along those lines.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Because in the day, whenever you change your status without the other person's permission. You know what I'm saying? I think actually when you add someone to be your girlfriend on Facebook, they have to accept, innit? They have to.
Dude,
I don't even know these days, but
that's a bit mad. Like,
yeah, I could be wrong, guys. Feel free to
comment. Please let us know.
Yeah, but I feel like there was a time I accept that this person can call me. Even Facebook.
I'm sure you probably have to, because you can have any person just rant. This is it.
Okay, cool. So,
fair enough. Okay, so we go with that. Maybe that's exactly what it is.
So even Facebook knows there has to be a mutually agreed understanding between two people before you can change it. So I think take that as well. In life you have to have a conversation
about it.
Exactly. Agree. Okay, we're pursuing of this goal of clarity of marriage within our dating, and so we're official at this point.
And this is it. Just a few things on what people are saying regarding love. Yeah. You don't choose love. Love chooses you. You can't help but to fall who you fall in love with. Both parties should be prepared to work at the relationship. It should not be one-sided.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about that before I go into the other ones.
Yeah.
But
I mean, love, you don't choose love, love chooses you. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
No.
You don't choose love, love chooses you. You can't help who you fall in love with. Both parties should be prepared.
You can help who you fall in love with. You definitely can help.
I think this is more of a mandem mentality.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Just for the same reasons I said. Be angry and do not sin. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to extrapolate from that too much, because there's a context of that scripture. But I'm just trying to say that there's an element of controlling your emotions that allows you not to sin. And I don't want to extrapolate too much. I want to be careful, but that will allow you not to do certain actions which can be deemed as sinning, which can allow you not to have to, fall in love with someone. You can say you might have the feelings for them, but all I'm trying to say is you can control those feelings. And I think when we say, you don't, love chooses you, or something to that effect. The reason why I'm perhaps not in maybe I agree
with it.
What I'll say is, look, we didn't choose to love Christ. Christ loved us first. Do you see what I'm saying? God so loved the world that he gave. You see what I'm saying? We didn't choose him. He chose us. So in a similar fashion, we can choose who we want to love. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's not a matter of, it just happens, or you just kind of, it just kind of springs upon you. No, because then what does that say about me? That means today I'm in love with my wife, tomorrow I'm not in love with my wife, because the love
it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Elaborate for me.
Okay, agree to disagree. But what I kind of take from that is, what do you say to those people who are in relationships that are very unhealthy, you know, once upon a time, it may not have necessarily been an unhealthy relationship, but because of love, they stick around. It's not necessarily a situation where you can now choose to fall out of love with someone. And that's technically what you just said about, okay, you love your wife today, so how is it that tomorrow I can turn around and say I'm not in love with my wife? Because technically, you can't, it's not like a switch. I can't necessarily choose, okay, you know what, I like that guy over there, let me flip a switch and, you know, I love him. Or you know what, I don't feel like loving him today, let me turn it off. You can't choose to love someone, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. And I think if I'm not mistaken, when we talk about that love, we're talking about the emotion. But what I'm trying to allude to is you can't control the action.
Yeah,
You see
no,
what
I
I'm
get
saying?
that.
Your actions
Yeah.
you can control. So just because you feel a type of way, don't mean you cannot act a different way. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You know. So why am I with my wife? Because yeah, emotionally, I love her.
Okay.
But in my own actions, I have chosen to be committed to her till the day that God calls me home.
Fair enough.
Do you see
I
what I'm
hear
saying?
that,
That's
yeah.
the difference.
Okay.
And,
All right. I
you
like
know,
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I guess people are agreeing. No, love is a choice. Okay. That's no, I
Come
get.
on, people.
Listen,
Back me
no,
up,
no,
back me
because I'm literally trying to see it from both sides because
Yeah.
I hear what's when people do say that in terms of like love, you don't choose love, love chooses you. I kind of get it, but at the same time, I hear this whole thing of, you know, you yourself choose who you love. Those are two different things. I think I wouldn't even put both statements in the same type of category because I think they mean completely different things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, you know, I'm on this weight loss journey like everybody else is been on this weight loss journey.
Since quarantine.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I want to buy Five Guys and, you know, but I choose not to buy Five Guys.
It's
right?
very true.
Because I know it's not good for me. You know?
Yeah. Fair enough. I like this one actually. Vertical love for Christ, horizontal love for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
vertical love for
actually, you
Christ.
know what, if people generally have that type of mentality going into a marriage, mate, it will last.
Yeah, because end of the day, the love that you have. Look, if I'm dating somebody, yeah, like the love that I'm expressing towards them needs to be rooted in the love I have for Christ. If I don't, love Christ, then my expression of any kind of love is worldly.
Okay.
Right? It's completely worldly.
Yeah.
It's not of God and it's not God glorifying. You see what I'm saying? But when I love Christ, you know, okay, let's look in the Garden of Eden, for example, right? Taking it all the way back now.
All the way back.
In the Garden of
back in
Eden,
time.
yeah, for those who are familiar with the text of Genesis, okay, there's three relationships, right? There's Adam and man. Adam and man. Adam and God.
Yep.
Adam and God. There's God and Eve, and there's Adam and Eve. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And God didn't have to make, when God made Eve, he didn't say to Adam, okay, I'm making her, but just make sure you love me more. Because typically you might say that because we are flawed in our understanding, but God didn't have to say that. He made Eve, and it was good for him to make Eve for Adam, and all those three relationships were in unison.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? They were in unison. It was perfect. God was glorified. The unity amongst those relationships, the triune unity, was not broken
Yeah.
until sin came in. You see what I'm saying? So I guess I don't really remember the point I was trying to make there, but that's for someone. You see what I'm saying?
That's for someone to hear.
When we're pursuing a relationship with somebody with clarity of marriage in mind in the dating phase, and when we finally arrive by the grace of God at marriage, what we're trying to achieve is that the relationship, that triune relationship, myself and my wife and God, myself and God, is in harmony.
Yeah.
As much as possible by the grace of God, because we are flawed human beings. You know, we make mistakes. But thanks be to God, we have an advocate, Jesus Christ.
This is it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what I'll say on that.
Okay, well, I think we are actually shooting past time.
Really?
This literally, and I don't even think we even finished. You know, there's so many other questions I wanted to ask you, but
Oh my
we are
goodness.
really shooting behind time. We might need to call you back in because I
Oh
think
my
a lot of
goodness.
people are liking what you're saying.
Wow. Praise God.
I just want to read out a couple more. Guys, come on. What do you mean I agree with Nana? Listen, I didn't say I disagree. I'm just looking at it from a different point of view. Like, we have to understand what everyone else is saying. But, yeah, guys, just be on my side. What's going on? What's really going on?
Back me up, come on, I need more people.
Okay. So I'm going to leave it on this note before we sign out. So just little words of advice here and there, right? So we have patience. Be clear in your purpose. Know what you want and where you are going. Share these with your partner. In the end, what will be will be. Good luck to the young ones. Thank you very much.
That's what's up.
Being in love is deeper. You can choose and control who you fall in love with. If you don't associate with a character you don't like, there are very limited chances you'll fall in love with them from a distance. And we've also said someone who said that's why it's a choice. You can and can't be in love with someone, feelings, but there's commitment. Being chosen by love is about respect, honesty, and commitment. You can learn a lot from each other when you are friends. Friendship can lead to marriage by the grace of God. Just pray, really. There is no choice in love. It grows over time. So this is, you know, and, you know, we have people that think guys should stop talking too much, which it may actually be something. We have got people calling for a part 2, Nana, so we might have to think about it 100%. But what I would like to say is, in all honesty, we do understand, and I've been saying this, I do feel like the generation we are living in today don't necessarily see or understand the depth of how important certain topics like this are and things that you have to think about when it comes to your life partner. Some people are just doing marriage for fun or because it looks good or because you want a lavish wedding and certain things like that. They're not deep in that this is for life. This is till death do us part. So until one of you guys are ready to join the Lord, you guys aren't going anywhere. Like, what's divorce? You guys, you're not going anywhere. But moving on to that, we've heard some tips and advice from people that are currently watching with us. I will want it to leave it on this note, or just for you to give your advice to not just young ones, but men in particular. Like, what would you now say to guys your age or younger when it comes to this?
Perhaps I would say, I believe it's Philippians 1 and verse 9 through to 11. I think it's there.
You guys check it.
Yeah, check it. They always talked about prove the things that are excellent.
Yeah.
You know, and so I would say to the young woman, the young man, you know, just approve what is excellent in your dating. Like, approve what is excellent. You know, what is excellent, that's not by your standard, but by God's standard. And you know, as I mentioned at the beginning, value godliness in a person above all. You know, again, that approving what is excellent. And I think that'll be a good guiding post. And I just want to reiterate, excellent by biblical standard, not by your standard.
This is it.
And I think that should be a good guiding post.
Yeah, definitely. It's been real. I want to thank you so much. We had so many other things we wanted to discuss and talk about. It's unreal. An hour's gone by. We've even shot over time. So I just want to thank everyone who got involved, your comments, for tuning in, to bearing with us during this time. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening, and we'll be back in 4 weeks from today. Take care.